And what's going on, guys? Minicall here, coming at you with another video. This one kind of just touching a little bit more on some war strategies, as well as the new war rewards, and essentially what I think you should be spending them on. So first and foremost, I'd say this war is pretty much done. I doubt that they will be able to get, another 500 points. Um, Looking like our bridge should kind of hold. Just kind of looking at some of the attacks. With that being said, I just want to kind of talk a little bit about a couple things. So first and foremost, I am going to go into the new war rewards, and why I think you should be, using them versus the slightly cheaper option. So if you go into the war tab over here, you are going to see these elite war credits. We are going to get those for winning or losing a war. And with the new patch, they did offer a new tier, which unfortunately, I guess it is not viewable on mini call at the moment. Um, that might be because of my level. But there actually is a new tier. It's the Orange Gear War Orb, and it's level 2, whereas this one over here is level 1. I'm not too sure if this maybe unlocks at level 65 or maybe level 70, so some feedback on that would be certainly great. But essentially, what it is 1,200 of these Elite War credits versus the 1,000 that this one is. So, what I would highly recommend for anyone that does not yet have the Orange Gear War Orbs level 2 unlocked, to actually just hold on to your War Store Elite credits, so these white ones, until you have that accessed. Pretty much just from, like what I'm looking at on my main account, the gear drop for the items is just, pretty much double. What you would get in these. Looking at these, you're basically only getting one of these items, whereas in that Elite War Orb, you're just getting a lot more. So looking at the center one, which is kind of, the top tier, that's kind of, the best items that you're getting. While you're still getting 6 of most of these, it is at a higher percentage and overall it just looks a lot better from what I'm looking at. You basically just have a higher percentage chance of getting a lot of these items. So for that extra 200 credits, I definitely think it is worth it. Um, the gear drops, kind of the same thing. Um, Fairly equal chances. But the biggest thing, and that's really going to make the main difference, is actually in these left pillars. Instead of just getting some of these mini uniques, you're also getting the Gear Tier 15 stuff, which I think has a lot more value long term for everyone. I guess, totally up to you, kind of, I guess, where you want to place your priority. Myself, I think I'm probably going to hold out and get for these Gear Tier 15 stuff. I think there's just a lot more value in it. So, kind of what I will be doing on Mini is I will be saving my Elite War credits until I get that level 2 orb unlocked. So that's kind of just my plan going forward with that. Second thing I want to talk about is in these wars, we are at the point now where we actually are facing kind of real alliances on a regular basis. And what I mean by real alliances is, for the most part, it is not, predominantly all shield teams. So you will come into contact with, end game content war defenses and all sorts of stuff like that. So I kind of just want to talk a little bit, about attacks that are being made, and you're kind of just, I guess, essentially doing yourself a disservice. There's a lot of things that go into war offense and defense. And, I'm just going to pull up, let's see, let me look for two prime examples. So, all right, so looking here, this room in particular, so we've got an engineering room. And I mean, you see here a 220k Asgardian team, and you know, I don't really have too much left as far as my war offense stuff. But if I was to hypothetically throw this team together, and 180k. Now, this team is a bad example against Asgardians because I actually might be able to take this team. It would be a little dodgy, but it might be able to happen. But hypothetically, let's just say this was any other random team, and even though I have 188k and it's really not that much of a punch up, if I'm using a non-synergized team, chances are I'm probably going to lose the fight. I would say 9 out of 10 times a synergized team is going to beat a non synergized team, regardless of the power level. This situation could be reversed where my symbiotes were 220k, my random team was 220 and the Asgardians were 220. My non synergized team would lose to them. I know the symbiotes are synergized. Let me kind of just see if I can find another example that would maybe go through. Uh, so let's see, what else do we have here? All right, so here's another. Here's a 300k Guardian team. It's a fully synergized team. They are easily going to be able to take out a non-synergized 300k team. So you really just want to be careful when you're looking at synergy versus non-synergy. The other thing you are looking at is, power levels of some of the members. You know, this team, for example, while they're not a synergized team, they're it's kind of a thrown together team. You could definitely probably beat them with an equally non-synergized team. However, you want to be careful with some of these high-level members. So you see here, this team has an 84k Wolverine. You want to make sure you're bringing in at least one of your characters is at a comparable level. So even if you just have a bunch of characters that are, let's say, 50k, you'll still probably have 250k in total power, but there's a good chance that this one lone character is going to take out your entire team. So you really want to be careful for high-powered members, especially when they have very unique mechanics to their kit. So if they self heal, or if they taunt, or if it's a character that has a large AoE, you really want to be careful for that. Similar thing over here with this 76k Hulk. So not only is Hulk, a good tank, he taunts, he's got a high health pool. When he gets to 50% health, he gets that boost in his damage, and then he does that AoE attack. So, again, this situation where you could bring in 5 characters all 50k, they might not be able to take out this one Hulk. So you really want to be careful with that. You really need to look at the entire team's composition and not just the little power. Collection power is certainly important, but in a war, that's not the only factor you're really looking at. It's kind of what you're, I would say, primarily looking at is you want to see if the team is synergized or non synergized. If they are synergized, you want to go with one of their counters. That information is available on the war channel. Um, So, in the case where Asgardians, you can go symbiotes, you can do Black Order, you can do Asgardians, you can do X-Men with Phoenix. But there's not a lot of other teams that are going to be able to take out the Asgardians, not at an equal power level. Um, so, if it's a synergized team, look for that team's specific counters. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. The Alliance leadership has, some good experience as far as dealing with teams and who can handle who. So once you've determined, okay, synergized, who's their counter, who am I going to use, boom, you're good to go. If it is a non-synergized team, such as this one right here, you want to look at the people that make up the team and the composition. So while I may be able to go in with 5 characters at 50k, I'm looking at a 60k healer and an 84k self healer plus DPS. So I might have a hard time with that. So in a non-synergized team, what you really want to look at is the strongest 2 members and make sure you're bringing in at least 2 characters that are of equal power to that. Um, so I think that's kind of the 2 biggest things. Um, the other thing that we're kind of running into, because people are, I guess, underestimating teams, they are not being able to finish a fight, and they might take out, one attack or 1 character and then they leave 4. If that's the case, please try to finish the attack you started and you were unable to complete. Combination of things, it's not fair for someone to have to kind of go in and clean up your room. And then from the resource standpoint, since you already took out 1 enemy, if someone was to finish that node for you and they kill 4 enemies, they're only getting 4 times the resources, where if they were to do a full node they would get 5. It's one thing totally if you are out of resources and whatnot, and that's fine. But try to finish what you start. The other thing too, I mean, we are eventually going to get to the point where there are going to be sometimes teams that do take 2 attacks, and we totally understand that. However, the slip ups we've been seeing, those are really not 2 attack teams. So we're trying to kind of mitigate that so it's not happening as much. So that's things I want y'all to keep in mind. If you are going against a synergized team, please, please, please check out their direct counters. You cannot take a 250k Wave 1 Avenger team and hope to beat 180k Asgardian team. I know they're both synergized teams, but I would say probably 99% of the time the Asgardians are going to wipe the floor. You can't go up against a 50k Red Skull Hydra team with a 150k team that doesn't have any healing components. That's another big one that people seem to be having an issue with is Red Skull and his 4 minions. The main problem with that team is that when you are facing that counter, you have to kill all of his 4 Hydra minions 8 times before they actually stay dead, and then you can actually kill Red Skull. So we need to stop underestimating teams, watch out for team synergies, and then even when you are attacking some weaker non-synergized teams, please pay close attention to the 2 most powerful members in that team, because a lot of the times people will pull together those tricky teams, and they're hoping that we're going to throw something underpowered. So let's not take the bait on that. If y'all have any additional questions about some war strategies, feel free to let me know. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, feel free to reach out to your Alliance leadership. Hit me up on Discord at Khaleesi, in-game, mini-call, Dracarys, or Khaleesi. Good luck with the rest of this war, and good luck with everything. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.